Hello, everybody. Today is September 15th, 2025. And as usual, I have four instruments that I'm looking at: the MNQ, the RTY, the ES, and GC Gold. I hope my sound is coming through. I don't know. Let me try to figure out let me try to get into this thing.
Seniors 50
Stop. What the heck is going on here?
Less than 51.
I'm assuming, can anybody hear me? I'm just trying to get the chat to look. Okay, good. All right, thanks. All right. So anyways, I'm kind of one of the probably the main thing I'm looking at right now, just to kind of put something in perspective, is possibly a retest of the top side of the prior day high in gold. That would probably be the first thing I'm looking at right now. What I have currently is a situation where, the NQ is going through highs, but the RTY is going down and the ES is going towards highs. So we have conflicting direction of the equities, which we've had a lot of that lately in the mornings. And they seem to come around and all be doing the same thing later. So yeah. So hopefully they all start agreeing with each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag, damn it, I'm going to drag gold over here for a second. I don't want to lose looking at these. So let me drag gold over here and maybe put this over here for now. I got to get used to moving things around so I can have one screen with whatever's starting to look good on the chart at the same time. Boy, the RTY really took a nosedive down and then rolled up, didn't it? Jesus. Oh, here we go. We got gold getting really setting up. We got gold really setting up here. Anyways, I've kind of noticed lately that seems like as and this isn't always the case, but it seems like we have this, what I've been recognizing lately is like we have the open, things kind of do their craziness. Then we have a lull as if we're waiting for news. And then we get like midway through the 10 o'clock hour, and then things kind of start creating patterns again. If you think about Thursday's video, the last video I did live, I mean, the true and only setup that really happened was towards the end of that video. And it was an absolutely beautiful 5-minute red line that just went ting, ting back to the daily high. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I couldn't have drawn one on the chalkboard behind me any better than the one that laid out in front of us. So I don't know. And today could be one of those days too, because we had no news coming into the day. So, we really don't have anything volatile throwing the market around. Looks like the MNQ had a nice A nice little rotation there. I don't know. I'm just looking right now. So keep in mind, one of the things is I'm going to try not, remember, for those of you that have been around me for a while, I'm dyslexic. So like the last thing I need to do is get fixated on the chat, because it takes me 5 times longer to read anything in the chat than it does any of you. And then I don't realize, oh shit, I haven't been looking at the charts, and then I miss a trade or something. So I'm going to try not to fixate on the chat. So don't get upset if you type me a question and I don't respond. It's not that I'm ignoring you, but I am ignoring you. If that makes sense. It's not that I'm ignoring you, but I am ignoring you. Anyways, one of the things I wanted to touch on while we sit here and apparently kind of wait for the market to do something, is, Thursday I came on here and did a live video. And it was because I promised to do a live video, and I probably shouldn't have done any video on Thursday, but I promised to do one, so I did it. But my mental state was not there to be very good in that video. Some terrible things that happened on September 10th. If those of you may know, a terrible thing happened on September 10th. And then compounded with the fact that September 11th brings back some bad memories for me, since I, knew people that were impacted by September 11th. So I probably just shouldn't have traded that day. My mind really was not in it that first half of that video. It was therapeutic because by the end I started, getting my footing. But anyways, so I just wanted to get that out. I mean, I don't even, I wasn't really paying attention. Which brings me to, probably one of 5 lessons in my videos, which is, you should never trade if your mind's not in it. I mean, because this stuff is complex. It's complicated. I'll give you a perfect example. Let me just give you a perfect example earlier today. This sequence of events right here in gold. Okay. So you had a crossover retest. Remember, gold opens at 820. So that's when the volatility starts picking up. We had all this consolidation. And then all of a sudden, gold just comes up. You can't see it, but see this pivot right here? It breaks that pivot. Here, I'll do it this way. It breaks that pivot to our left by 1 tick. And I'm telling you so many times, if you see a 1 ticker, you need to heighten your senses, because that is traditionally the sign, the 1 ticker. And then they rolled it back, sat on top of the overnight open, and then bam, there it was. And this was all after it had opened at 820 right here. And so that, these type of moves right here, I wasn't watching gold at the time, full disclosure, but these type of rotations right here, your mind has to be sharp to see that happening and see the deliberateness from here, 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 through the top, and then down, consolidate, boom, gone. You have to be sharp to see those setups. That was a beautiful setup. Absolutely beautiful setup. Like that 5-minute red line that I talked about on Thursday, you really didn't have to be that sharp to see that one. I mean, it just laid itself right out. It was perfect. It was a beauty. But, you go back to this one, talk about deliberate. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles in a row that went up and across, ticked through by a tick, rolled back right onto the 5-minute, right onto the overnight open. And not only that, it was a crossover retest. Now you broke this pivot. You didn't break a Donchian channel, but remember, I put the Donchian channel on the chart so that people that aren't so used to seeing pivots break into their left, it's like footprints in snow. It shows you where you need to start paying attention more. But I never even used a Donchian channel when I traded. I brought this on because somebody showed it to me, and I was like, yeah, that really would help people see pivots. But you're looking for major pivots to be broken. It got broken by one tick, sat on there, boom, off it goes. I mean, it's just beautiful. Anyway, so let's look at this. Right now, this isn't looking very promising, to be honest with you, because we've been meandering right in here before we get to this area. I would have liked something a little bit more aggressive coming down. I mean, would have liked, even if it rotated from here and then went straight down, that'd be fine. But when it went here and then meandered up and then broke down and meandered, now it's meandering again. I mean, I'm not feeling. If you go back and look at my Thursday video and you go to the last 15, 20 minutes of that live video, you will hear it in my voice and you will see it on that screen and that was a 5-minute red line trade. You will see what I mean by deliberate. I mean, it was as clear as the nose on my face. This was the trade. And that's, and unfortunately, you remember, you're trading against, computerized trading for the most part. And one thing a computer has an advantage of over you is it doesn't care. It doesn't care that it took 30 minutes for a great setup to happen. It didn't have emotions. It wasn't, upset that something didn't happen in the first hour after the market opened. It doesn't care. All it needs, like that 5-minute red line trade that happened on Thursday, it just needs a lot of, and that trade went for a long ways. It just needs everything to line up and then ding, 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 and then ding, 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 ding. And it can load the contracts and make the money and call it a day. If it rotates with 50 contracts and goes, say $500 a contract, you do the math. I mean, you only need to do that once a day and the world is good for you. We're sitting here as humans. We're stressing. We got emotions. We've got all that going on in our heads. Yes, we finally have the RTY and the MNQ all in agreement on direction, which is nice. That is nice. So now we could possibly start getting some rotations. One of the things that's going to hurt us today, or going to hurt me, for example, is like the ES and the NQ are clear north of their prior day highs. So there's no rotations up there with those lines that are going to be in play for us unless something happens relatively dramatic that pushes price back down. But right now there's nothing. And I'm not feeling it with this gold right now because of what I said. We meandered there way too much. Yep. There. I mean, and there you go. I mean, gold's just collapsing. See, there was no deliberate here. We just meandered. We rotated down, rotated up, rotated down, rotated up, rotated down. That's meandering. If we meander, it doesn't matter that these candles are in sequence. For example, say there's 3 here. It doesn't matter because it was just meandering. There was no authority to it. There was no, you got to recognize one thing. When the algos are kicking in, they're trading off fear. So the fear is that deliberate push in a direction to get the amateurs leaning that way and taking as much of their money and getting them to change out their positions of long to short and all that kind of stuff. And once they feel they've done enough of that, then they spin it the other way, because that's what accelerates price the other way, is the fact that now you got all these people leaning short. It doesn't take as much contracts and as much money to then scare them back the other way. And all of a sudden, whoop, there you go. And they're just, they know the trading psychology. They know the main trading psychology is fear of missing out. And, that's why, for example, fear of missing out. That's why this right here, wrong one. Hold on. This right here is such an integral sign, because it's going to catch the people going long here that are playing the breaks, the amateurs. And once they catch them and then they slam them back down, they get them going, oh shit, and backing out, then they just run it the other way. Now we may get a crossover retest to the short side here on the prior day high with gold. That doesn't take as much effort to set up, because usually it creates a space and then comes up, and it really ends up being, for all intents and purposes, it ends up being a continuation trade. It's just a continuation of the direction that they're squeezing the market. So, and I look at it as a place where I can potentially see a rotation and defend my position. So let's just see if it happens. The reality of it is it may do it the other way, back over and sit on top again and then go that way. So we've got to just focus on this candle right here that's on this prior day high right now. Just focus on what it's trying to is it going to show us the direction? Is it going to show the hand? Well, right now it may be showing the hand. It may be showing us the hand to the long side, which this would be beautiful if it comes up and then creates a candle or two up here, then sits on top of the prior day high. That would be beautiful also. Yes, David, that is. Well, hold on. Let's see here. Let's see where this candle closes. Let's see where this candle closes right here. If it closes above this prior day high, then I'm totally washing my mind of any shorts. Okay, it did. It closed above the prior day high. So I'm not going to pay attention to any shorts. All right. As of right now. Boy, the RTY is just crashing back down. I like that. Okay, hold on here. Shoot, man. Gold is starting to. Are you going to have any direction at all, gold? I would like a candle, another one to open here, and have it run a finger down, leaving the top not far above this prior day high, and then take a long here. That's what I would like. It's exactly what I would like, but I may not get that. I don't want to be chasing this because it's not really moving. Does that make sense? Because it's not really moving. I don't want to chase this. But if I can have an entry where I'm defending a position without having to risk a lot of money, then I'm potentially interested. Just because this isn't really moving. Now, when the thing's moving and it's running like crazy, you got to just make that executive decision. Are you going to be willing to take the chance? Oh man, what are we doing here? Shoot. Oh, God dang it. Come on. Come on. What the heck? Okay, let's keep going down. Keep going down. Keep going down. Go down. Go down and quit pushing up until you're ready to go. There you go. Okay. There we go. Now let's just settle right here. Settle right here. So what we did was we had an inside candle right here. We broke the bottom of it. So if this thing would launch itself back up, we probably have a pretty good safe entry to the long side. Of course, this candle's starting to get pretty long here. All right, come on. Come on, gold. Come on, gold. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't run yet. Don't run yet. Damn. Oh, man. I completely missed that. I even called it and saw it and everything. I hope it comes back down. Come back down. Come back down. Come back down. Take me in. Come on. Take me in. Yeah. I'm going to cancel that. Oh, man. I still think it's going up. I do. I think it's going up. I think that's going up. I just missed the entry because I'm too busy talking. I mean, it's definitely going up. That's definitely going up. The big hammer down. It did what I said. See, we had the inside candle, okay, right here, and then we went down on it and then rotated up. I mean, that's a classic setup for a long side, but it's meandering, which is pretty boring, but it should have run more than that. I mean, gold should have really run more than that. Should have run a lot more than that. Come on. Go gold. Come on, gold. And keep in mind, you're back on top of the 9 EMA, which is your friend. And here it goes. Need to break this pivot right here at 76, and then you're off, and you should be off and running then. There you go. There you go. So yeah, there you go. There you go. I missed it, but that was it. That hammer. This is part of the reason why I'm doing this sim, and I'm videotaping, with this software that I have right now. Is I've got to practice myself doing these things live. I just, but that was a beautiful setup. Is it going to actually go anywhere? I don't know, but my stop would be below this candle right here until we got some actual movement. I mean, there's no sense in taking a big loss if this thing's either going to run or it's not. Come on, gold. What is the problem here? I mean, this thing should have been off to the races. Looks like I would get a loss here. Well, it's close. I would still be one tick behind this candle here. Would be my stop. My target would be at least up here. Maybe here or here. But I'd be managing my target more after, I would be pushing it up if we rotate in steps instead of running, which we are rotating in steps. Very small steps. Very small step. Yeah, go, David. You got it. That thing's going. Now we can get this to break this pivot here, then we've got a nice safe place to put our stop right here. But this has got to rotate. Come on. Come on. There you go. Now break. We need it to break this candle now. We need it to do it in steps. Start stepping. It was important that this candle broke these. That's good. Now we need these to break this, and we start doing some stepping. And that's where you can start. That's where, if you're in that trade, you can start looking for real money, because this thing has potential as it steps to bring you to real money. There you go. Look at that. Real money. Come on. This move is rather uncharacteristic for gold lately, honestly. For that big hammer candle like that to just be sitting here like this, that is just very interesting. Very interesting. That it just doesn't have any oomph today. But again, now I'd have my stop right here at this, basically the break-even point. And I'd be waiting for this to rotate up. Yeah, here we go. Come on. Now start doing some steps. Steps. Let's go, gold. Let's go. Step yourself up. Man, just does not want to move. Come on, gold. Come on. Come on. That's okay. You're still good. You're still good. You're still good. Come on. Oh my God. Come on, man. Come on. There you go. Now, if this thing would hammer candle, man, it's real money. If this thing would hammer candle right here we go. Come on. You might have created yourself a higher pivot now if we can break through this. I mean, it's just going to walk, unfortunately. David. Yeah, no, I think it's going to go. It's, the 9 EMA is your friend. You need that rotation. Come on. Come on, gold. Do something. It's pretty sad for a Monday. Mondays have been pretty good days for me lately. Here we go. Come on. Buyers, buyers, buyers. Let's get some buyers in here. Let's get some buyers in here. Come on, gold. There you go. Now, come on, gold. What is the deal here? What is the deal? Man, this stuff is slow. I'm still waiting for a reason to bring the stop up to here if I was in. I didn't get in. I just was too busy talking like an idiot. But anyways, I'm still looking for it to give me a reason to move my stop up. And that would be from this breaking this candle and going long. Come on. We've had two inside bars. Well, one inside bar. About to have a second here. Come on. Oh, man, it's over. Yep, it's over. Jesus, that is just terrible. Just terrible. It would have been if it had rotated, George. Absolutely. If it had rotated. Obviously, it didn't rotate. Now, what we could get on gold, let's talk about it while we got a chance. What we could get on gold is this. See this pivot right here on the prior day high. If we can get a deliberate move down, which we're getting one right now, to sit on top of this and not break this price right here. So I'm going to put that in here, not break this price right here. And then another rotation long, then we might have, another chance at it. So this price right here is 94.7. So we want, if this pulls back and doesn't break 94.7, we could be looking at, just broke it. It just broke it. Yep, it literally just broke it by a tick. Man, just ridiculous. Yep, just broke it. So forget it. See, now that's it. That's going to rotate down now. As soon as that pivot got broke, forget it. In my book. Now they may slam this thing back up and run like crazy, but wow. Man, look at this. Y'all looking at the equity markets? I mean, it literally looks dormant. I mean, here's the NQ. What the hell? That's the NQ. Somebody put the NQ on Ritalin or something, because it's not moving. I mean, like, this stuff is just not even moving. Nothing's moving. It's very interesting. Wow. So we're at 1022 and we're literally doing nothing. Well, there is quite a bit of news tomorrow. But holy cow. But, if I have to spend 2 seconds explaining something here, it's days like today that you can wash away all the money you would make on the days where the trades lay right out in front of you. And then when those days do come along, all you're doing is digging yourself out of the hole that you've already created for yourself. That's why the old, my saying of, sitting on your hands is still a trade. It's the executive decision to not donate your money to the market. That doesn't mean when we get past 10:30, get to 11 and the European markets close that we don't start picking up some pace, because that's exactly what happened on Thursday. That is exactly what happened on Thursday. Now, I don't know anything about Friday. I wasn't here. And to be honest with you, I never even looked at the charts on Friday. But I know what Thursday did. Thursday started kicking some butt after 11 o'clock. Wow. ES just made a really weird candle, man. The hell? All right, so let's take a gander at the RTY since gold's decided to go dormant on us. Let me take this and shrink it so I can at least still watch it. The RTY, for reasons unknown, and obviously not for any important ones because it literally took forever to do this, but it rotated down and rotated back up. Now it's just gone through its current high. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it start moving back down to the gold line, and preferably a direct move to the red line and then get a rotation up. That would be my preferred situation, is that it rotated itself directly to the red line. Let's see if it does that at all. As gold is obviously turned the prior day high into its overnight open because it's just going to sit there. It was, yes, Jeffrey. Yeah, the one I identified. But again, like I said, you have to have clear focus, clear identity of what's going on to your left to have recognized that trade, Jeffrey. But that was literally the trade of the day. Got to have clear focus, clear mind. You can't have, distractions in your mind, or you're going to just totally whiff that trade or dream a trade that isn't there and lose money or whatnot. Come on, somebody do something. Somebody do something. Man. Jesus. Somebody do something. All right. ES just one ticked itself through its high. And now it's rotating down. To be perfectly honest with you, that would be wonderful. If, see, it ticked itself there. We have not tested that red line since we crossed it at 5:45 this morning. So I'm telling you, it would be absolutely wonderful if this thing would rotate down, let that red line kind of migrate itself up into this zone over here, and then rotate itself down and then catch a pivot back to the daily high. That would be wonderful. So I'll be looking at that in the ES as a potential. I am looking for something similar to possibly happen here in the RTY, but it doesn't look like it's going to do that. It just this right here is very interesting because it's literally just melting its way up. I mean, it has no manipulation. Here was your situation here where you broke through and then it rolled down, which you would have expected there to be sellers at this point, and then it just meandered its way back up. I mean, like there's no true manipulation going on that's going to give us a rotation for a trade. Now all of a sudden, wait, what's that all about? Why all of a sudden, what time is it? So it's 10:30. All of a sudden we get these ugly candles. Interesting. I mean, all four of them got ugly candles. Even gold had an ugly candle. Wow, the ES had a pretty ugly candle. I'm still hoping that that's a start then of maybe some algos kicking in and rotating back to the red line in either the ES or the RTY. So we can get a potential trade here. That would be very nice, guys. That would be very nice. Something happened at 10:30. whatever it did, hopefully it wakes the market up. Kind of looks like it might have. I mean, here's a 1 minute gold line style trade in the RTY, but I mean, I am not going to do that. Come on, man. Are you serious? Times, I mean, it is 10:30, so you could do one, but I'm from here to here. I have no room once I get in. If I get in at 32.30, that's if I don't get a bad fill. If I get a decent fill, I'm in at 32.30, and the top is 32.37. Are you insane? It would take you in if you were doing it. Huh. Wow. Okay, come on, guys. Let's rotate down to the 5-minute red line. Seriously, why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? I'd prefer the RTY to do that out of all of them. That would definitely be my preferred choice, is the RTY to rotate down to the 5-minute red line. Do a nice long candle below it, then a rotation boom, and then long. Take it back to at least here. And it may even, if you want to swing something, may even rotate up to there. But that's my preferred setup right now, if at all possible. That is my preferred setup right now. That is it. But right now, we had a spike at 10:30 in all these instruments, wherever 10:30 is, right here, and then we've gone straight dormant again. It's like crazy. I'm gonna go grab a quick cup of coffee. I'll be right back. So let me give 5 cents of analogy right now. Okay. So if you think about it, these markets, ES, NQ, even GC, they're all at all-time highs. And so mentally, you've got two things going on, in my opinion, which is possibly why this volatility is so low and whatnot. One is anybody that already is in the market doesn't want to sell. And anybody that's sitting on the sidelines doesn't want to buy in. Because who wants to buy price at the top? And so I just think that's where the volatility has gone. And if the market itself, the market, not these futures, but if the market itself is not volatile, then these futures will continue to stay dormant like they are right now. That's just kind of a thought I have in my head. I went to get a cup of coffee, Jim. Can you not hear me now? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? I hope somebody can hear me. My computer said, my thing says that you can hear me, but I don't know if you can. Can you not hear me? All right. Okay. All right. Okay. We may get this RTY rotation that I was looking for. This may set up. I wish you'd do it a little faster than it's doing it. But I mean, does anybody have any thoughts that somewhat correlate with what I said about all these all-time highs? And nobody wants to buy into it, but nobody wants to sell it either. The way we make money in say, day trading futures is rotations, sentiment going bad for a month or two and price dropping, and then sentiment getting better and price climbing, and the people entering in and out of the market. I don't know about uncertain. I'm certain about one thing. I'm certain about one thing. The one thing I'm certain about is government's going to continue to print money and destroy the value of the dollar. And that's the main reason why this stock market is at all-time highs. That's one of the reasons. That's if because that's the only thing government knows how to do. Government doesn't know how to manage itself. It only knows how to print money. And once it figures out how to do that, it'll ultimately destroy a society. And that 2 seconds of little speech that I just gave right there is exactly one of the reasons, and I'm being perfectly honest with you, exactly one of the reasons that I feel it's imperative that I personally teach myself, I should say, how to become a proficient, good trader. Because ultimately, just to pay my bills, houses, or if the housing industry, yeah, they're very good at wasting money. They could waste it. Yep. But see, it's easy to waste it. It's so easy to waste your money because all they have to do is push a button and print more. What most people don't realize is there's income tax, there's sales tax, there's property tax. But one of the biggest taxes of them all is inflation. And there's only one reason inflation happens, especially when you have an economy like ours where efficiencies continue to happen from the brilliance of people we have in this country to invent things. So we gain efficiencies in doing things, but we destroy the value of the dollar faster than we can even do that. So, there you are.
3364.
It looks like RTY is not going to come down. And well, first of all, even if it does it now, it's already destroyed my whole premise. Let's just talk about that for a second. We didn't, we had a high, doesn't have to be a high, but we had a high, pivots broken to the left, all that stuff. And then we started doing a rotation. And when we got like to here, I was like, okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. But now we've meandered sideways. So the problem is, even if we then rotate, say, down to here, the recoil back to the long side so that we can make money is not necessarily going to be the strength that we need to stay in the trade and not destroy our mental state of manipulation and all that stuff while we're watching it happen. I don't like to be in trades where I feel confident we're going to go one way, but I don't know at what point and how the rotation is going to happen, because then I'm just sitting in that trade and I'm sweating. So I don't like that's the whole premise of my trading strategy that I've come up with is to get into a trade and be on the right side of it from the beginning. I don't want to be on the right side of it, 30 minutes from now. I want to be on the right side of it when I get in it. So you've got to have push and pull. Like, for example, over here in gold, that was a pretty good push and that was a pretty good pull. There's a potential for a good trade here. Okay. I'm being honest. I know I'm looking at this after the fact, but I'm giving you an example. We had a push, we broke this pivot, and we had a pull, but you could see the push and pull here. We sat on our 9 EMA and then we're rotating up. That's push and pull. Push and pull is not laying around like this and then finally coming down. If it does, that's not push and pull. And the thing is when the market's lazy like it is right now, even if, which obviously this was a pretty good green candle and it's rotating. What I don't like is, so let's take this, for example. Let's literally take this. Let's talk about this. Okay. Even though this, if I would have been staring at this, I would have pretty much told you I expect this to go long. But just by the way this rotated up, broke these pivots, and then rotated back down and created all that space there, that gap. The problem is I want to be right, but I also got to be rewarded for being right. I'm taking risk. So if the rotations have no follow through, then I'm taking risk, but I'm not getting rewarded. And so I don't, and let me tell you something, that is something that has come in my development. Okay. So I'm just telling you, like, if I was prop firm trading, I probably would have looked to take that from there to there. Okay. And then there, I have a day counted, and this is the high probability trade because we broke this pivot here. That was the rotation down, but I would have had my target here. So let's just for conversational purposes, this is what you're in, like maybe 84 and you're out at like 02. So what's that? Maybe $160, maybe $160 if you got to fill there. You might want to front run it a tick or two. So you maybe got $140, $150. And if you're prop firm trading and you need to count days and you need to make money to, and you want to slowly walk yourself towards profit to then get a payout, I'm going to tell you right now, that is a great rotation. But when I'm trading real money, which, I will be doing later after I get through this practice again. I mean, I'm still sitting in sim right now because I'm trying to learn how to videotape live and trade. But when I'm trading live money, that's not enough for me. That's not enough. That's not good, because when the rotations are happening, you're going from here to here without you're not even thinking about stopping here. You're looking for here. Okay. So instead of making $140, you're really looking at $300-400. So you only have to enter that market and put yourself at risk one time to make 2, 3, 4 times that amount of money. And that's a much better risk to reward for me, because I don't have to worry about trailing stops and I don't have to worry about days counting and stupid stuff like that. But again, I've talked about this. Prop firms have a purpose. They truly have a purpose. It is the cheapest way for you to have access to Ninja, data, and all the tools and stuff that Ninja offers, for example, for you to, or TradeStation or whatever system you're using. It's the cheapest way for you to have access to those things and to learn how to trade. Hands down. Doing it with live money, that's insane. Depending on how much money you have, because, and how disciplined you really are. Maybe I shouldn't call you insane, but you get the idea. So anyways, and this, by the way, this kind of stuff right here, I talked about this, I think, a while ago. So like take the ES right here. That kind of stuff that I just talked about with gold right there, okay? That's the kind of stuff back September 2022 that I was doing in the ES only, to get myself my first payout at Apex. And this is exactly a perfect example. Here's your reset candle. You rotate it up, created a Donchian high. And I'm not looking for a lot of money. I was just looking for this thing to rotate, say this candle here. I'm just looking for this thing to rotate from 79.75, maybe up here to 70 to 80.75 or whatever, and book myself, $50 or whatever, and just and that's what I didn't allow it to rotate back against me and blah blah blah. That's what I did. I basically scalped my way. Perfect example right here. Crossover, it finally rotated in. Boom, there's your candle. There you go. That stuff. That is exactly what I did to get myself my first payout. So let's just look at this. So I'm going to put this on here because I'm in sim anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I would be looking for, we got a nice inside candle here. If we break through that top, I'd be looking for it to go back up to here, maybe through it. But you had a nice solid reset. You had a nice firm move up. You had a pullback to your 9. And when the market is trending, meaning just slowly meandering itself, this is a beautiful setup. But you're not going to make a lot of money doing it. But it has a very high probability of at least going in your favor. You can put your stop at even and yada, yada, yada. So let's just see if I can old school practice do this. I don't do this anymore, but but this is what I did. All right, we're in. So where's my target? Way up here. See, that's the kind of stuff I'm really looking for. So let's just go up to here, maybe, and then put this right here because we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose a lot. And I would just cross over, on a slow trending market, just cross over, reset, boom, then just go for it. And this is exactly what I would do. It doesn't look like it's going to work. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It's going to work. It's just the ES is a total different animal. So here it is. Here it is. Come on. All right, there we go. Come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. All right, there it goes. There it goes. All right, now I got to give myself, a little bit of breathing room. But I would be very cautious, and I had a ton of freaking break evens because, once I get so far, I'm not going to let it take me out for a loss if it decides to give up. But here we go. So here we go. So in this case, I'm looking for, $1.50. I don't know. How many points is that? 1.5, something like that. I'm just trying to get it to go through the top. Don't know if it's going to do it. And then boom, I got knocked out. But see, I put myself in the rotation. And that's a clear rotation right there. Ding, 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 ding. And that's what I would do. And that's how I made it through, getting my first payout. And let me tell you something. Back in those days, you had to trade for 20 days to get a payout. You had to trade for 20 days in a PA. I'm pretty sure it was 20 days in a PA. So that I had to trade all those days. So that's what I did. Is and the market was doing a lot of the same thing. It was just meandering. So you had those crossover piercings of the goal line. Bam, there it is. You're up and through the top. Boom, got your money. So if you do that 2-3 times a day, because that's what the market was showing you, you might make $150, $200. On a good day, you make maybe $300. That makes sense? So that's what I did. That's how I made it through my first funding with Apex. But I mean, it's painful trading, but it's a way to trade when the market is A, slow, and B, trending. And so, what is the market doing? What is this market doing? It's trending. It's just trending. It's not doing rotations and to the downside, then crossovers and back up to the long side. It's not doing that. It has not even hit the 21 SMA on the 5-minute candle. It's crossed it at 540. So it's a trending market. It's just trending. So what am I missing here? Somebody's missing on me. Oh, the RTY. It's like somebody's missing. The RTY was missing. GC was missing. Yeah, gold. Look at gold. So that trade is still ultimately working. But I mean, that is painful. Just absolutely painful to watch. But similar to that ES trade, it created that, it broke, like in this case, it broke that pivot, just which is ES did. It rotated back into that 9 EMA, had a nice push through, and then a follow up. But I don't have the patience to sit here and do that 10 times a day. I want to look for that rotation that's solid, firm, going. But when the market's meandering, that whole 9 EMA, I said it multiple times on this in the last couple videos, that 9 EMA is your friend, man. Once you get on top of it, especially on long days, once you get on top of it, it'll just continue to be the gift that keeps on giving. And so back over here on this ES, see, it's still holding. The 9 EMA is still holding. You know, it's still holding. Is it going to break up through the top? I don't know. But again, you got to remember the mentality. It's a trending market long. So for it to have a big rotation, somebody has to have a lot of nerve to sell it. Somebody has to have a lot of nerve to sell it when it's trending. Wow. Just painful. I mean, seriously, just painful. Just painful. Just painful. Just painful. So the RTY did that. It's now rotating up through the high again, to its daily high, and then it's rotating back down. Man, wow. Stuff is somebody start moving. Somebody start moving, please. Somebody start moving. So let's just take a quick observation look at this, by the way. So notice, so what appears to be happening right now is, like in the ES, is it's creating zones. So like here's a zone right here. So they're buying off the zone. Then we came back down, tested it, bought off that zone. Came down, created this, rolled up, back down into that zone, bought into that zone. Created this big long candle right here, came down, bought into that zone. So it's really looks like it's just zone to zone to zone, which I don't get into that because I hate buying and selling, buying in zones and then selling in zones. But that's what I'm visually seeing right here, and you can see it. They come down, stop, then create a pivot, come down and do it again, and then rotate up. Create a pivot, come back up, go back to that pivot, rotate up. So like this zone right here is probably something they may come back and test and then rotate up again. I don't like buying in zones, but it's kind of what I'm seeing right now. My charts aren't set up to see that kind of stuff. So you have to kind of really, kind of have to really look through the chart and actually see it. But that's what it looks like it's doing, because coming out of each one of those zones here, I'll go back to this again. Coming out of each one of those zones, you're getting green, 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 green. And as the day goes on, see, this is 9:45. This is 10:20. And this is 10:45. As the day goes on, the rotation out of the zone gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Because ultimately the market's running out of gas. And that's when so if you're a pivot trader, which I'm not a true pivot trader, but I stare at pivots. What you're looking for is, as a pivot trader, you're looking for whatever pivot you got and your other pivot right here. You're looking for rotation through, break this, rotation up that does not break this. See how this one came down and rotates, break this, does not break this. So on your road, come down, your rotation up, your pivot rotates over again and breaks your your new pivot low here, and does not create a new pivot here. That's when it's a sign that the rotation is heading south. This market is running out of gas. You can see it with the legs. I call these legs. I mean, you've heard, you guys hear me say, get some leg, get some leg. That's what I'm talking about. I want the market to get leg. Leg means exactly that. This is a leg. And if you look at these legs, and again, none of this is stuff you have to memorize. I'm just talking because we're sitting here. But if you look at these legs, each one of these legs is getting shorter as we go on. And that, by the way, is expected. It's expected that the legs get shorter. And that's a lot of times where you get into that creation. You guys heard me say this, when the market's not way up, but the market rotates down, 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 and goes inside the 9 EMA. I mean, the 21 SMA, the 5-minute red line. When it goes inside that 5-minute red line, and you are after, say, 130, that, definitely after 1, that's when the rotation, because the legs have already started north of you, of rotating the other way, that's when you start getting that rotation that brings you back down, towards the overnight open. Now, I don't expect that to happen here today because we are trending up and whatnot, but we'll go inside that 5-minute red line sometime today, because you got to remember, the other thing to remember is that price and the moving average will meet, because time goes by and the moving average comes to price. Unless price keeps running, which the legs are getting shorter and shorter, that moving average is going to come to price. So, this 5-minute red line is going to come to price sometime today, because these legs are running out of gas. This might be the one that's showing the gas being over right here. We kind of rotated up, half-ass came down, and then rotated and then stuck the finger through, and now we're kind of doing this. I wouldn't be surprised, but you never know. But one thing I do know is, regardless, nothing's moving. Regardless, nothing's moving. You know what I mean? I mean, regardless of what's going on, there's just, a leg creates, but then price goes sideways. A leg creates and then price goes sideways. It's just, there's really nothing that I want to risk my money against, if I'm making sense. So rotation. That's my friend. I need rotation. you go back and you look at the ES, and it's like, okay, here's the ES. Okay, here's the ES. Where was the sign that you should get in, and where was the sign that you should stay in? I don't have one. You know what I mean? Because I'm not Nostradamus. I can't tell you where the top's going to be. Now, at times, I look like Nostradamus when we go inside the 5-minute red line and it's after 1 o'clock. And I do tell you, well, we're going here. I'll look like Nostradamus then. But that's just from years of staring at these charts and knowing that when the market doesn't have a big up day or a big down day, and you start, and the stair stepping starts going the other way, and you get inside that 5-minute red line, the rotations are happening to go back to equilibrium. But today's not one of those days, because today we are definitely up. We are way up through the prior day high. We're again at all-time highs and all that kind of garbage. And, we are not in a market right now where sellers want to step in. Now, what does happen is day traders, that's where the 1:30 afternoon stuff happens. Day traders start selling out of their positions, or they lose confidence because they can see the stairs going to the south, and then they just start bailing. It's fun to watch when it happens. God, I'm telling you something. Years ago, you could literally count on oil doing that 2 to 3 times a week. And when it would do it so deliberately that you would just just as long as you knew the pattern, man. And I'm talking $1 plus back to the overnight open, and you're talking $1,000 trade on one contract just to catch that rotation. But anyways, yeah, we're just I was really kind of hoping somebody would rotate deliberately back to the red line, like gold, for example, would be a good candidate for that because of where it's at. I mean, it's never touched the red line. I mean, it's trending so much. We have not had any rotations to the red line. That is just insane. And that's how the equity markets went with the ES. The same thing. It had no rotations to the red line. NQ hit the red line at 8:30 in the morning. That was it. Hasn't seen the red line since. 8:30 in the morning. We had some industrial news at that time, at the exact same time. Something, I can't remember what it was, but that's the last time the NQ got hit. And by the way, when it hit that red line, when it hit that red line in the NQ at 8:30 in the morning, boy, woo, doggy, it was gone from there. It was gone like Donkey Kong. There was a lot of money to be made there. A lot of money to be made there. That 5-minute red line is a dynamic line, I'm telling you. It is. And if you go back and look at the video we did on Thursday, and you go back to the last 30 minutes of it, or whatever, the live, you will see. And I literally discuss how this is a 5-minute, how we're using 1-minute candles, what we're trying to do with that 1-minute candle, even though that trade is really for 5-minute traders. And what I'm trying to do is dissect the candles within the 5-minute candle so that we don't have to have such big stop losses to get in on that move. Because that's big money trading that trade. That's big money. And I show you in that video that as we clear the sequence of candles to our left that encapsulate on our 1 minute chart 5 minute what a 5 minute candle looks like to 5 minute traders, you see the acceleration of price through that top, and that's the 5 minute traders jumping in and hammering price to the long side. And I mean, and it's funny to watch. It's fun to watch when it happens. And if you understand that that's the sequence you got in, say on candle 2 of the 3 of a 5 minute candle, or candle 3 of a 5 minute candle, meaning 3 minute candle with inside that 5 minute candle, and then you see, price go up and pierce your candle top of 5 minutes. You block that in your mind and you see it, and then you see the acceleration out of that. Then you're in a good trade. If you don't get acceleration out of that 5 minute zone, you might have a problem. You might have a problem. You might want to look for a gracious exit, because the 5 minute traders are not jumping into that trade for whatever reason. Again, there's always things going on that you may not be aware of. You can't. That's how you can muddy up your charts. If you got, everybody seems to think, if I put this oscillator on, that'll solve my world's problem. Or if I put this moving on average on, this will solve my world's problems. No, all you're doing is creating more situations where you don't know what you should do. That's my opinion. That's totally my opinion. But I mean, I have seen traders' charts before where I'm like, holy, how the hell do you even know when to take a trade? And I'm talking traders that have been trading unsuccessfully. Let me classify that. Unsuccessfully for 20 years. And they don't understand. They just think if they put another indicator on their chart, that'll be the solution. Okay. And it doesn't matter how much I try to tell them otherwise. And I'm not saying that I'm right and you're wrong. What I'm saying is, look I can tell you based off this, and this, price is going to go do this. And then we'll go candle by candle across a chart. And I'm the one saying this, and they're going, I don't know. And then we flip the candle to the next part, and boom, you get the big green candle. See? You don't need, your oscillator told you that wasn't going to work, but guess what? It worked. And so you hesitated. Yeah, I get a little emotional sometimes. Sorry. I don't mean to get. Whatever. Now, interestingly enough, here's a little W setting up here in gold. So you had this pull down here to this pivot. You rotated to a high. You came back down. And then this one did not go as low as this one. And so you got a little W setting up here. I mean, I'm not looking to take that. But again, if you're trying to scalp your way to getting some profits and making making money, to pass an eval or PA or whatever the heck it is, that's it right there. And look at it. There it goes. There it goes. I'm not going to take it because I don't want to get into something where my profit is maybe $100. But there it goes. I mean, and that rotation was relatively easy to see. Is it going to work? I don't know. We don't seem to have any follow through today, but it might. Oh, it didn't work. Dirty dog, it didn't work. But that's where you follow the back of that candle and you take your loss. So you lost like maybe $50 trying to make $100, whatever. Is it going to break that pattern down? It's going to break that. Somebody do something. Somebody do something. Oh, shoot, what happened here? Something's wrong. Yeah, David. David, I know. Listen, man, I don't like to dish anybody. So if you'll notice, I never talk about trade systems. Let's just call it that. But I know of some trade charts that you can rent for $300 plus a month, that I can look at a chart as clearly as I can. I'm not a newbie, and there's no way I could trade with those charts and make money. And they cost $300-400 a month to use, but they have all these fancy colors and they have all these, the backgrounds. One of them, I think two of them that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, the backgrounds change colors based on this and that, whatever. Man, learn this red line right here and save yourself $300 a month. Learn this red line right here. Save yourself $300 a month. Wow, it's insanity. And I mean, there's hundreds of people that pay for some of these things because they don't know any. I mean, again, I was one of those people. Okay. So I'm not trying to belittle anybody, but I was one of those people. And, I may have gone to Notre Dame, but I can tell you right now, I've spent more money educating myself on trading through losses and those type of systems than I paid to go to Notre Dame. And granted, I went to Notre Dame in the 90s, but, still, not today, but still it wasn't cheap then either. So, yeah. The main thing, in my opinion, is you can't make money unless the market's moving. And I like to talk about things that are not just the lines. You can't make money unless the market's moving. You can't make money when the rotations are going against you and you don't have something solid to show you that rotation, that those rotations of those steps is going to be counter trend, like the overnight open. And you have to recognize that when you look to your left, that overnight open, that this is a unique event. This isn't a new event, because for you to change those pivots, it has to be a unique event for that overnight open to have the power to rotate through. That's why one of my videos I've done, and it's in my training videos, and I talk about it, is which of these lines, because there's 1, 2, 3, for example, right here. You got 3 in a row. You got the 1 minute gold line, you got the 5 minute red line, and you got the prior day high, for example. Which of these lines is more powerful than the other? And if you don't know those things, then you don't realize that when you should be holding a trade versus jumping out of a trade. I mean, there's a lot more to it, because you got to know, like, if you slam down through here and you hit the prior day high and then you rotate up, boom, is that a good trade or not? Versus you have a crossover retest of the 1 minute gold line and the prior day high right below you. Is that a good trade? You need to know which one of these lines is the most powerful. You need to understand and then recognize the price action. What the hell's going on upstairs? Mike. So to answer in the YM, let me see. Hold on, let me look at the YM. So you're asking me, did one happen there? See, here's the problem. Man, we should have been trading the YM today. We should have been trading the YM today. Holy cow. The YM had some good setups today. Holy cow. Look at this 5 minute red line in the YM today, folks. Holy cow. Holy cow. Now this crossover, I would not have been looking at that to go short personally. Holy cow, look at that. All right, we're at the overnight open here in the YM. Boy, the YM had some beautiful, look at this. Here's the overnight open here. Here's a tick from the prior day low, rotation long, boom, back to this high, slam back down, did the overnight open, new high, back to the 5 minute red line, boom, gone. And, why don't I blow this up while we're sitting here? Why don't I blow this up while I'm sitting here? I mean, wow. I think I have the old one though. See, this is another problem too. See, I don't have that on my chart. So let me get the newer one. Here's the newer one. Still the same trade. Yep. Still the same trade. I had the wrong date because I didn't have that open. It didn't reset my charts. Boy, look at the ES. What I don't like on crossover retests is we're going through daily highs on this here, Mike. If you'll notice, we were going through daily highs. So I would have been leaning long instead of short because we're north of the overnight open and we were going through daily highs. So I would not be looking for this to do a crossover to the short side. That's just me personally. I would not have been looking at that. And then let's just talk this really quick here, because I want to get this out here and show you this. But take the ES. It's too early for the ES to be rotating short. And so we crossed over here and it's probably going to roll back up in here, but I wouldn't be taking that either because of the slope of the 5 minute red line. It's way too steep to the long side. It needs to flatten out before you start taking shorts. That's my opinion. It needs to flatten out because you got to remember there are longer term moving averages still pushing price to the long side. Does that make sense? Shoot. Wow, that YM was beautiful today. I mean, I'm not saying I would have taken this because I wouldn't have, but this right here, yeah, that 5 minute red line is a beauty, absolute gold right there. Absolute gold. You can't get better than that. You went through your highs, rotate, sat on top of it, boom, gone. That was a beast of a trade right there. That truly was. That was a beast of a trade. Probably should be long right now. I'm in sim mode, so I was not paying attention. I was too busy focused on this. But that looks like a definite rotation to the long side here in the YM. But that's a beautiful setup right there. Over here, man, it would have pissed me off because it missed this by a tick. But, it did sit on top of the prior day close I mean, yeah, I mean, I can see that. I'd have to see it live how it happened. But if you'll notice, see this candle right here, it stayed there at the high, it stayed at the prior day high, shot through it. This candle formed and then it rotated. Yeah. That'd have been a little tougher. Oh yeah, especially since, forget it. It's 9:30 in the morning. I'm not insane. No, I'm not doing that. All right. But this trade right here, that's all over. That's my rules right there to a T. So anyways, now funny story about the YM. Funny story. I mean, you guys want me to tell some stories sometimes? I don't know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I took the long on the YM just for the fun of it. I mean, I'm in sim mode, but I know a trader who lives in Florida that trades the YM. That's all he trades is the YM. And he makes more money a month trading the YM than I'll make in a year. And that's all he trades is the YM. But I mean, he takes, real heavy positions in the YM. But that's what he trades. He trades the YM. Come on, YM. Are you going to go long or not? Look at the ES. You look at the ES, man. But there's an example. By the way, let me put this. Oh shoot!
704.
God damn! Hold on here. Let me.
4776.
Sorry, my phone. I want to go back over here and look at this. So look at this. See how this rotated down, rotated up, and this slammed down. And you would expect that from the ran up. But I wouldn't be taking this trade because of the slope of the 5-minute red line. I'm just showing these things. Now this trade's working, and you did your Donchian Channel and all that kind of stuff, but I consider that just too much counter trend for what I'm trying to do. It may work. I don't know. This one's probably going to test that prior day close again. Is it? I don't know. I should have been out of it, but I'm out of it now. It's a $5 instrument, so you're not risking a lot of money. I just lost one of my charts here. Where am I? I just lost one of my charts. I lost the ES. Hold on here. So here's the ES again. So let's go back to this. So if this thing starts rotating back up, let's just say, and then breaks this pivot right here, breaks this pivot right here, and then sits back on top of that red line, that's where I'd be looking for a potential long, a continuation of the 5-minute red line. Yeah, the YM is it's kind of like the RTY. It's inexpensive to trade. But what I liked was, the actual trade right there. That was a beautiful trade. That was just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, are we at the low and still low? Let me see here. Yeah, we were at the low, which it bounced off the prior day low here at like before midnight. And then did all this crazy stuff here. So, yeah, we might get a rotation up here. Yeah, I don't have the RTY on my chart anymore because I think I put the YM on it. Did I? Yeah, I did, because gold is over here. I mean, I could open up more charts, but I'm trying not to confuse myself. But here's the YM. So obviously, great situation would be this candle forming right here and staying there, and then getting the long off the break of that candle. That would be the ideal situation for that. So they stair-stepped themselves. They tested this. And they tested this, which they have not been here since midnight, I think it was, or before midnight. So it'd be a good place for it to rotate from. So when that candle closes, I'll just put my little marker on, because this is my RTY setup, so it's similar for the YM. Yeah, there you go. You're already 5 ticks up, 6 ticks up, 7 ticks up, 9 ticks up, 10 ticks up. Yep, there you go. Off to the races. The big green candle that you've been looking for. The big green candle. Now the question is, off the prior day low, can it get enough gumption to rotate on top of that 9 EMA and then start carrying itself back up to here? Can it do that? That inside bar on that YM was beautiful. It really was. That inside bar on top of the prior day low, that was a beautiful, beautiful setup. Look at that thing go. Look at that thing go. That is amazing. That is just amazing. There you go. All right. There, I got my loss back. But anyways, we're at 11:30. I'm just going to kind of call it a day right now. Oh, by the way, so the ES is showing signs of what I'm talking about. So see how we have this low that rotated up. Now it's come down and it's starting to rotate up from that low. And so you could get that rotation where it crosses over that red line, breaks this pivot, sits on top of the red line, and then, you're long back towards the high. Look at that YM go. That's beautiful. Maybe I need to leave a YM chart open tomorrow if it's going to have rotations like this. I've had YM charts open before and it just doesn't move, but it's definitely don't following our patterns today. Again, that's a loss, whatever, but you got, here's your wins. And then this one, now that it's sitting, here's the cool part too. Now that it's sitting above this price, I took it out because I'm just sitting in sim mode. If I had real money, I would be looking for something bigger. But if you can get price to stay, which it's getting ready to do now, we got ready to close in 17, 16 seconds. Get it to stay north of this gold line, the overnight open, then now we just need that 9 EMA to rotate and just back up. And, your rotation should go, hopefully, to there or there. Beautiful, beautiful setup. Just beautiful. Look at that. Now that YM is beautiful, just beautiful. Smooth as butter. And by the way, again, back to deliberate. See how deliberate that move down was? Then you had, and that's, again, my favorite thing is that consolidation candle on the line inside this one that was cleaning out the stops. Here's the consolidation, and then here's the kick. See what I'm saying? We might test this top now and then rotate up. if it tests this top and you're still in it, then I'd be adding contracts when it breaks back up. Look at that. Yeah, that can stop. If you can be patient, and see and wait for a consolidation candle like that, man, I'm telling you, that's when things get serious. But you got to be patient to wait instead of making it a guessing game. And then you get the big green candles and you get the money, and and then you start becoming more consistent. So anyways, I'm going to shut the video down. Everybody have a good day. I plan on doing this again tomorrow at 9:45. Hopefully we can get some more price action going. And, hopefully there's a lot of news tomorrow. So who knows, we may end up with one of those situations where the market just runs away at 8:30. But I don't know. We'll see. Look at that. That YM is really looking nice. That's a nice rotation trade. Keep going, YM. Come on, break through the top. What are you doing? Come on, YM. You went and tested the prior day low. Now it's time to go back up. Wow. Ugh. Wow. Oh, there goes the ES, by the way. There goes the ES, just like I talked about. So we rotated from a higher point back up. So if we can cross and break this pivot right here and then rotate on top of the 5-minute red line, I'd be looking for a long back that way as a continuation trade of the red line. Oh, good job. Who loves Lunatic? I love that name. Good name. All right, everybody. I'm out. I will talk to you guys later. I'm getting more comfortable with this, so it's cool. So I will hopefully be doing live trading here soon on this thing instead of this. And then, again, if I can get myself settled on that, then I might start doing go change platforms and get more of a live platform. But I gotta develop myself to this. There's a lot going on here, moving parts, and me, charts rotating. And because seeing these trades, I mean, this YM trade is easy to see, but I mean, it's a lot more difficult in reality than you may think. By the way, the ES just broke its pivot here. Of course, it's going to run away on me, isn't it? You'll make me a liar, aren't you, ES? You're going to make me a liar instead of rotating back down here and then doing a long, aren't you? I did know one thing. You didn't want to take the short. That's the one thing I did know. All right, everybody. Have a good day.